Hello everyone, I'm Dominique Fauteur, research scientist here at the Canadian Museum of Nature, and I'm also a metalhead. Like many of you, music is a big part of my life, and although I prefer to do my science in silence to be focused, I press the play button at the end of the day. Being a metalhead ecologist doesn't mean that I'm greeting everyone with horns, or that I do online conferences with Viking attires, or that I'm studying animal behavior while they're listening to metal music. It actually means that whenever I'm in the field on the Arctic tundra looking for lemmings or nesting snowy owls, the music allows me to forget the buzzing sound of the mosquitoes, or it gives me literally a second boost of energy, just like a very strong coffee. And a 20-kilometer walk looking for these animals can become the most epic thing. Some of you might wonder how science and metal are related. For this, we've invited Mark Jansen from the Dutch symphonic metal band Epica to tell us how science became an inspiration. I'm really happy that you joined the activity because, of course, first of all, I'm a big fan of Epica. When you listen to the lyrics, you and Simone sing about topics that seem underlined by science. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Take, for example, the holographic principle or the quantum enigma theory, and this time the omega point theory. They're all scientific. In the lyrics, you make it accessible, and many people actually love this kind of topics. The more crazy it is, the more I love it. So, for example, like the holographic principle theory, I love this kind of stuff. So then I start diving more and more into it, and then I want to try to make some lyrics out of them, and then of course you cannot make it too technical because then everybody is running away. But if you then combine it in a way with the typical Epica kind of lyrics, then it works well.
Since Epica sings about science, is everyone interested in science in the band?
I have the feeling they got more interested into the subject that I touch upon, and especially a guy like Isaac. He's very much interested, and then he started also when I had some topics. He started reading books about it, and then he really comes up with good good ideas.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, and also in such a setting, it was also a nice, unique experience.
It's truly inspiring to see how Mark and Epica communicate science through their music. But in the natural sciences world, music can also be an inspiration. Let's see what our scientists here at the Canadian Museum of Nature have to say.
What's more metal than actual metal? This is a Sabian cymbal. It's handcrafted and hand-hammered in Meductic, New Brunswick. It's made of B20 bronze, which is composed of 80% copper and 20% tin. Copper comes from minerals like this. This is native copper from Michigan. Chalcopyrite, which is an iron copper sulfide, and even gives a green color to this beautiful malachite here. Tin is more rare, and it's usually mined from minerals like this, called cassiterite. Once the copper and the tin have been melted down into bronze, Sabian forms blanks like these that then go on to spend their life as a cymbal.
What really draws me to both the natural world and metal music are these contrasts like beauty and darkness and adversity and overcoming it. That's why things like this little moss inspire the metalhead in me. It's in the genus that we call Tetraplodon, otherwise known as nitrogen mosses. This tiny group of plants actually prefers to grow on old animal remains like bone, hair, and antlers. It's a harsh place to settle down, but a rewarding one because the moss essentially absorbs and benefits from the leftover nitrogen from the decayed animal remains. Life embracing death. Now that's pretty metal.
But beyond science, scientists can become the inspiration. Let's see what Jason Ashcraft from California power metal band Helium Prime has to say. Helium Prime may have some of the coolest lyrics to listen to as a scientist because you sing about scientists, not only science topics or discoveries, but also the scientists themselves.
Actually, the idea for this new album, Question Everything, I've had since I started the band. and I was reading a Galileo book when I was a teacher, just randomly on a break one day, and it just sparked the idea of making an album basically paying tribute to scientists throughout history who in their time were either underappreciated or their theories were mocked or ignored, but as time would go on, people would be like, oh, wait a second, there's something to this. To me, this stuff is exciting. These humans they're exciting, they're inspiring. So the goal was to make people feel that when they listen to the album.
Not too long ago, it was the Women in Science Day, and it was really nice to see that you guys have included that in your lyrics.
Well, talking about Katherine Johnson, I mean, she's actually, through the process of this album, she's not even joking, become like an idol to me just in my everyday life. I mean, she just had everything, man. The attitude, she knew who she was, she knew what she wanted, and she did it, and I felt that was something worthy of spotlighting.
It was really great to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man. It was a lot of fun.
So metal and rock and roll are obviously inspired by the natural world, but sometimes it's the other way around. For example, Synalpheus Pink Floydii and Terribilites sepultura, species that were named after rock and metal bands. In 2003, I named this beetle Platycelia hipporum after the Tragically Hip. I chose this name because I was listening to the hip a lot in the lab where I was working when I discovered this particular new species. And I know that they appreciated it because they sent me a note of thanks through social media sometime later.
As you've seen, science and arts are two complementary fields that they both work well together. Artists have long turned to nature for inspiration, and scientists use arts to better communicate their science. Thanks a lot for watching.